Hello and welcome back to Liberate Living, or welcome if you're new. With 2023 quickly approaching, we want to provide helpful tips to set goals for the new year by removing setbacks from sabotage patterns. So today we're going to discuss how to heal shame and self-sabotage to help you achieve your 2023 goals. When we set a goal, then encounter the necessary challenge or obstacle to attain that goal, that's when we often want to abandon ship or escape the hardship. Yet we can't move forward until we have adequately addressed what is holding us back, the sabotage cycle. Whether it's a limiting belief, disappointment, shame, anger, or any other block that's holding us back, we have to address both what's holding us back and what we need to enable us to move forward. So today we're going to introduce 4 steps to remove self-sabotage. Step 1 is the awareness of the presenting problem, whether it's the pain point or a pattern. And it's possible to disrupt self-sabotaging patterns with a little effort. Awareness of the pattern or the problem helps us to identify the behavior so we can begin to course correct. And it's not always easy to examine our actions deeply enough to note patterns of self-sabotage. However, admitting we are self-sabotaging can be painful, and nobody rushes to the conclusion. It is human nature to avoid it for as long as possible. However, we have no choice but to face it if we should want to advance. So if you feel comfortable examining your behavior to find patterns, it helps to look at the areas of your life where things seem to go regularly wrong. And do any common factors seem to stand out? For example, maybe detach from relationships and begin picking fights once your partner displays love and affection, and perhaps you may not feel deserving of love. Or perhaps you have a pattern of quitting jobs right before your annual review, and it's only the programming. So let's look at this behavior and also identify what sets you off. Once you figure out how you sabotage yourself, take note when you do these things. What makes you feel like you have to act out or even react? Maybe in an angry tone, your partner's voice may remind you of a parent's expressing anger or even abusive behavior in your childhood. You always shut down even when the anger isn't directed at you. So other triggers that often put self-sabotaging behaviors into motion could include boredom, fear, whether it's fear of failure, rejection, change and uncertainty, and so forth. When things are going well, this undeserving syndrome, self-doubt. So track or dock your triggers. Practicing mindfulness or non-judgmental awareness of your thoughts and behaviors in the present moment can also help. Each time you uncover a trigger, try to come up with 1 or 2 productive responses to replace the sabotage behavior. For instance, saying thank you from a state of self-worth versus feeling unworthy. When anyone lends a hand or even exudes kindness, express appreciation. Practice getting very comfortable with failure. This may seem a little unusual or abstract, but to manage this fear, we can work on accepting the realities that failure and pain are often part of the path, and particularly when we're trying to achieve the goal. And this could be a hard task and it won't happen overnight. So start small by attempting to view your next failure, whether it's a relationship gone sour or a missed opportunity, as a possibility. It often helps to mitigate the fear when we can envision new outcomes and alternative backup plans to help prepare us, which is key, and then envision the ideal scenario and desired outcome. Step 2 is adaptive coping responses. This is one of the most essential steps, if not the most essential step, to ensure that we're not addicted to the problem or circling around it like a recurring pattern. By accepting what we want to change and coming to terms with what isn't working for us. And when we can admit what isn't working versus denial or dissociating from the problem, often escaping to other habits and codependency, that's when we will find that is one of the best ways to begin dissolving shame. I believe it's also helpful not to disqualify what is working, so we can combine them both and have a full scope of the entire perspective. And step 3 is neutralize emotional triggers. So by asking what we're meant to learn, it often helps us to achieve our goal through reframing of how this is happening for us. So what is the challenge teaching us? It's often teaching us new tools to master or achieve the goal that we set. So this helps to mitigate another level of shame, to gain more momentum Step 4 is accountability yields empowerment. Famously quoted by Gandhi, being the change that we wish to see and setting a more powerful goal or intention without the shame or undeserving syndrome. When we create the change and begin to create our own reality that we desire, not for others, we put the power back in our hands. So you don't have to have all of the answers or know all of the how-tos to move forward on your goal. You only need to see the bigger picture, then begin with the first step. You can learn from others who have been there before to help pave the path, such as ourselves. And you don't have to take our programs. However, it will fast track your goals and move you forward with rapid momentum to achieve your goals quicker without the prolonged trial and error process that we faced in our learning curves. And you can create your own signature steps along the way. When you use the proven steps we provide in our programs, you can overcome trauma patterns, obstacles, and sabotage programming, as well as align to your better version and improve relationship dynamics. These are the positive side effects of addressing internal programming, the 80% psychology first versus the other way around in sabotaging our best efforts. And because we want 2023 to be a better year than 2022 and would like to be part of the contribution to help you reach your goals to live your most liberated life by overcoming sabotage behaviors through these higher conscious practices and vital steps outlined in our programs. So if you're ready for change and want more support to advance your results in as little as 30 days to stay on course and solution focused, then check out the link provided to get started so you can be right where you want to be by then. And stay tuned for next week's podcast with a fascinating interview with someone who offers a unique insight on epigenetic patterns, both personally and professionally, to a subject that was recently stigmatized and has fortunately gained more public traction and attention: the rising need in mental health. You won't want to miss the tips and solutions that we share in that interview. And for those who you know who've been facing any suicide or suicide ideation, this may be a very helpful podcast as well. So thanks for joining, and goodbye for now.